Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Majo. I am a Peruvian immigrant living in the UK, and like many of you, I have been through that messy stage of figuring out what to do with my career abroad or with my career in general, let's say. And I've been meaning to film this short video in order to help others discovering their career paths. Apologies in advance for the bad lighting. I promise this will get better in future videos. But what's most important is the content, hopefully. So when I first arrived here, I didn't have all the answers. I didn't even have the questions yet. Even before coming, I've worked in jobs that didn't excite me. I've felt lost countless of times, and I've made mistakes that turned out to be my greatest teachers. So this sort of mini workshop slash mini course that I decided to call Pathfinder is exactly what I wish I had back then. What Majo from 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, wish someone would have presented to her. So this sort of like career mentoring session. So in just 3 parts, I'm going to help you discover your passion, plan your future, and build a career that feels right for you, not for your parents, not for society, not for your teachers, or not even for that career quiz that you took many years ago and it said that you should do XYZ with your life, but rather for you. So we'll keep it short and simple, but most importantly, I wanted to make it practical. So as I said, this video is divided in 3, and we are going to complete together some fun, hopefully, activities and start exploring different careers, especially in psychology, like careers in psychology or other helping careers. But honestly, now that I think about it, this workshop, this mini course, is also helpful for any other career path that one decides to endeavor in. So what's the result, or what are you getting out of this? Well, you choose your top 3 career ideas. Then you learn how to create a tailor CV that actually stands out. And at the end, which is my favorite part, you'll get personal feedback from me. And yeah, actually one-on-one feedback, because the internet has enough generic advice and you deserve guidance that is tailored to you specifically. That is completely optional. Feel free to also go through this mini course, mini workshop, and just do it on your own, and maybe do the activities on your own, and maybe find some answers on your own as well, and without needing personal feedback from me. But if you do need it, then in the description I am leaving the link to my calendar, in which you can just book a spot and we can have a one-on-one chat. So we'll start with part 1, which is about knowing yourself. Because honestly, if you skip this, you risk building a career based on someone else's blueprint. So we'll dig into your strengths, values, and what truly motivates you. This is evolving, by the way, and there isn't a right or wrong answer here. And then there's part 2, which is designing your path. So we'll explore options, including psychology, like I said, and other helping careers. And I'll share some of the tools and strategies that I used myself when I was exploring like what direction to take with my career. And finally, part 3, the most important part, I would say, which is a take action. Here we will build your career toolkit from your CV to some networking strategies, so you're not just dreaming about your dream career, but rather actually doing. And as a bonus, like I said, you could get my personal feedback. So think of this as a mini career coaching session with someone who has been there, has made the mistakes, and has also found her way through. So let's get started. So knowing yourself. I always say this, and I'm going to repeat it here. The first step for choosing the right career, or even taking any decision in general, is to know yourself, so we can actually be our true selves, if that makes sense, and shine through the career that we have chosen. So a short exercise that I found through a book called IKIGAI. This is a Japanese method in which they walk you through finding the perfect intersection between what we love doing, what the world needs, what we can be paid for, and what we are good at. We are not talking just about one thing. It's not like, oh, okay, what is the combination? And it can only be one perfect answer. We can have a lot of things that we love. We can have a lot of things that maybe the world needs. The world needs a lot of things, right? There's a lot of things that we can do that we can actually get paid for, and there's so many things that we are good at. It's just a matter of asking ourselves, what are those things, and trying to find commonalities. Maybe I can get paid for being an accountant, but I am not good at it. So I don't know, why would I choose that, right? Or maybe I love singing. I don't, but maybe. But I'm not good at it. So I love doing it, but I'm not good at it. So what's the point there? So this is the first exercise. So we are going to try to list maybe 2 or 3 things max under each of these circles and reflect, like I was saying, like where do they overlap? Where do you find these combinations? There is no pressure, as I was saying, there is no right or wrong answer, because these answers might evolve with time and as we grow as well. Take your time, so maybe 20 minutes to doing this. But as an inspiration, or like I said, as someone who has asked herself the questions and have been lost and then find her way through, I am going to show you guys my example. So, my intersection between passion, mission, profession, and vocation. So what do I love doing? I love working with children, I love psychology, and I love journaling. The world needs, well, more compassion, understanding people in helping roles, definitely. I can be paid for educating others and helping them through psychology. And I am good at being patient, being empathetic, and listening to others. So if I'm being honest, now that I'm seeing this didn't took 20 minutes. This took years. So years of like trying things, years of like making mistakes, like I was saying, which turned out to be my best teachers. So this wasn't something that I would say just 20 minutes doing this, but just maybe try and find like concepts, broad things that you are passionate about, that you love, that the world needs, that you can be paid for, and also that you're good at. So the intersection, hence, in my case at least, would be helping others through education, psychology, understanding themselves better. And careers that could allow me to doing this could be human resources, like I was saying, careers that could allow me to doing this are HR, like human resources, like working internally and helping with my soft skills, perhaps like help a company evolve and grow. Career coaching, which is the thing that I'm already doing in my job. Being a practitioner psychologist, like actually doing, therapy, or a merge of all of the above. Something that I will say is that at first, when I saw this IKIGAI exercise, I thought, oh, it could only be one. Like I have to choose. It's either HR, career coaching, practitioner psychologist, or I thought of being a teacher as well. But then I realized that life is more complex than that, and as humans are multifaceted as well. So why will I be only one thing? Why can I not maybe do a blend of those, like do career coaching on the side, but maybe working towards being a practitioner psychologist on the side, and also because I have a background in HR, maybe finding a role in the meantime in HR until I work myself towards feeling comfortable with pursuing a career as a practitioner psychologist, which, as we all know, and as I have mentioned in other videos, it's very long, and also we have to invest. And as an international student, we don't have the bursary, so we have to invest in our doctorates if we want to gain the qualification of practicing it, at least as a counselor psychologist, an educational psychologist, or clinical psychologist. But hey, I could also be maybe like a mental health coach on the side as well. There's so many things that are around helping others through education and psychology and understanding themselves better, even in a corporate role, like even in something that is not remotely therapy, for example. We can still have that impact in people using the skills that we have as future psychologists. I am mentioning this because I know a lot of people here are interested in becoming a practitioner psychologist, etc. And I am interested in doing that as well. But then I realized that maybe there are steps that I could do in the meantime and that could lead me towards the same goal, like I've been saying in other videos. We can work towards the same things, but we can change the strategies or the timings in which we achieve them along the way in order to better benefit us. So I don't know about you, maybe you want to do the same thing, maybe you want to be a therapist, or maybe you want to do organizational psychology. I've been receiving messages from you guys telling me like, hey, I'm interested in this and this and this, like how's the job market in the UK, or I am interested in more like the organizational or corporate psychology side, like what are your advice on that? Well, my advice is be curious, be open, always research, always read, and try to set like targets for yourself that are achievable without compromising your mental health and putting too much pressure on you. That's all that I can say in that sense, on that end. Okay, so I had to move basically because of the lighting, so bad. So after you've done this exercise of the IKIGAI, you can go on to the next exercise, which is also one of my favorites. It's about identifying your 5 core values. So your core values are basically your essence, something that without them you couldn't live or you couldn't be called you. So it is not something that we aspire, it is not something that we wish we had, it is something that we already have or we need to have in order to, again, be ourselves. And this I took from Vanessa Van from YouTube, so shout out to her. I loved her idea of identifying our 5 core values based off of this 50 core values list. So I'm gonna leave it there. And I am also going to leave you to reflect on which of these 50 values, which 5 values off of this list are most you, or resonate more with you, or you are already those values. So let me explain. Again, I'm gonna put myself as an example in order for you to make it a bit more like back to reality. So I've highlighted my 5 core values, okay? So my 5 core values, the first one, beauty. And in case you're wondering, it is not about the physical appearance, although maybe I do consider myself beautiful, but it is actually broader. So this value about beauty is about how much you value aesthetics, harmony, and the uplifting effect that beauty in people, in nature, in art, design, or even ideas has on your life. So I've literally read the definition of what this value beauty entails. So for example, in my case, I chose this value because I am sensitive to environments. So messy, for example, chaotic or visually harsh spaces or untidy spaces drain me, while aesthetically pleasing ones lift me up. So beauty, like being surrounded in a beautiful environment in terms of everything, like people, environment, like it being, again, like aesthetic, beautiful, including of course where I live, and especially for example where I sleep, my bedroom, that everything has an order and is hence beautiful, lifts me up. And the opposite drains me or makes me want to just go crazy. And number 2, I chose empathy. As I was saying in the IKIGAIs as well, that is one of the reasons that I am more leaning towards careers that are helping others, listening to others, education, psychology, I like, and I actually find it very easy to put myself in others' situations. And then influence, so influencing others / inspiring others with my ideas or with my story or just being myself. I consider that something that is already in me. Stability, so if things are chaotic, I would say stability and beauty like go hand in hand, perhaps in this case for me, what it means to me. So stability, things that have a time and place, are stable. So for example, that's why change, I struggle with change a lot, but I still choose change over being stagnant or over being like comfortable or not seeking new environments. So I guess that could be debatable, but I do still enjoy stability, routine, and well, beauty, etc. And finally, spirituality. So I'm a Catholic, and that is something that really is sort of like the center of who I am, my decisions. So I could have also chosen maybe faith, so number 23, but I decided to choose just one, like spirituality, because it's a bit more broader. So yeah, so obviously for you it would be different, maybe you will share some similar with me, I don't know, but it's important that you understand like why is it that you cannot live without that value, or that without that value you cannot be called yourself, because it's part of understanding who you are. And no one knows you better than you. So if you do these exercises and you think, no, I want to change this, actually that's not really something that I cannot live without, then do feel free. This is as well something that you might want to revise every now and then. I first did this exercise like 2 years ago, but beauty hasn't changed. Empathy, influence, stability, spirituality maybe has changed a bit, and yeah, or maybe the meaning of those values might change like in time, because we are evolving, aren't we? Okay, so now that we have done Ikigai and now that we have identified our values, we are gonna spot some career paths, okay? So with the Ikigai insights plus the 5 core values, what careers do you think might involve both Ikigai and are at the same time aligned with your values? So now we are going to write 2 or 3 possible career paths that you want to explore. Maybe you've already written them down in your Ikigai exercise. You can repeat them here. And as I was saying at the beginning, all of this is optional, but you can send it to me for feedback. I'm going to leave my email on the description of the video as well. in case you want to send it over, and I can provide some insights or some feedback as to some actions that you might want to take. So I included this slide because it's sort of like the reason that we're doing this. It is brave to take the time to understand ourselves before jumping in and talking about careers and talking about applications and strategic job hunting. I will do a video on strategic job hunting, I promise, but it is mostly important to get to know ourselves first, and we are already doing the inner work that most people just skip because either they are too busy living on autopilot, or maybe they feel like they don't have really a choice when it comes to their careers, because honestly, every circumstance is unique. But this video is here, and I am here as well to tell you that you do deserve to choose a career that you're passionate and that you can get paid for and that the world needs and that you love doing and that it is aligned with your core values. You do deserve that, and you will shine even more when you do this work and when you choose the right career for you, that otherwise choosing one that drains you or is not aligned with your values or who you are. So with that in mind, we will go on to part 2, which is about exploring what it's really like to study psychology and other helping careers. So if you are interested in what are the core psychology professions in the UK, I have made a video on that that I will leave somewhere here. But here I'm just gonna mention them out loud, and I'm gonna talk about my personal story and what I wished I'd known earlier. So these are the 11 core professions in the UK. Guys, I'm not gonna read through all of them because you have them right here, but I have included a star on the ones that I fancy, on the ones that I like, on the ones that are aligned with my core values, IKIGAI / everything. I've put a star in business, occupational and organizational psychology. Why? Well, because my background is in HR. I actually like helping businesses grow as well. And coaching psychology, it's another field that I'm interested in because I like coaching and I like psychology. And educational psychology, obviously, I've talked about that a lot. But I'm going to include as well here some allied psychology professions or other helping professions, as I was mentioning. So keep an eye on that. But before, let's talk a little bit about first why I chose psychology and what has surprised me, in short. I promise I'll keep it short. And then what I wish somebody had told me at 16. But you know, some things are just meant to be at the end, I guess. So why I chose psychology, I guess I've already answered this, but I think it's because it is more aligned with my soft skills of empathy. It's more aligned with my ability to listen to others without judgment, to put myself in their situations, and to also use maybe those tools in a corporate setting, even like, for example, in recruitment, as I was a recruiter as well, or in career coaching, like in helping students understand themselves and succeed in their careers and their lives. So in short, I chose it because it suited who I am and my core values and my IKIGAI. However, what has surprised me, I guess, is the lack of information about like doing a career change in psychology, like doing a conversion like I did. So for example, like lack of guidance in terms of job applications after doing a conversion or even whilst doing the conversion. I wish I would known about like the salaries. I guess I already sort of knew that pre-qualified life is very hard, challenging in terms of salaries. But I wish someone would have told me like, hey, even though this is like, you know, challenging in terms of pre-qualified life, etc., you could still do so many things like parallel that still light you up and that could also provide you a side income, like tutoring, for example. I discovered tutoring I think in 2024, and now I'm still tutoring and I love it, and it's a side income. It's nice to have that, like not being so short-sighted. And also what has surprised me is the amount of people that are interested in this career as a career change, not necessarily from studying it as an undergrad. And yeah, it has surprised me the amount of people that spend a lot of years in X sector, that spend a lot of years doing something totally different than psychology. So for example, I don't know, sales in a company, I guess you do still apply psychology there, but then they decide to do this career change. It is inspiring, and when I decided this, of course I knew there were going to be others, but it was surprising how many people are doing these type of degrees or conversion degrees. And what I wish someone had told me at 16, that I don't have to have it all figured out at 16, and that it is okay to do career pivots, life pivots, make mistakes and learn from them. I know this maybe a bit generic, but yeah, I don't wish I would have known all the answers at 16 so that I can make the right choices from day one. No, because then I wouldn't be here where I am doing this video, perhaps. I don't know. I would have told my 16-year-old self to take a chill pill and just enjoy my teenage years, and figuring careers will eventually come, and that it is okay, the one that I chose actually, which was business admin as a bachelor's. So now on to other helping or mental health professions that aren't necessarily psychology, but you can still study and you can still help people and use soft skills, etc. So social worker, that's one. Mental health nurse, it's actually a pretty good one. Coaching, again. Being a STEM teacher, or being a teacher in general, that's very rewarding. Art therapy, I have a friend who's an art therapist. Youth worker, like working with youth. So these roles can exist in schools, hospitals, charities, communities. And I forgot to mention even businesses, especially the business coaching, for example, like helping others build their business. And that is also rewarding, and helping others, right? So you don't have to choose now, just stay curious. Yeah, I just added that like as a not put too much pressure on ourselves type of thing. And if you are already watching this, it means probably that you are already taking actions towards building the career that you want. You're already being curious, at least on the internet. But let's move on to the activity of this part 2. So now we are going to again narrow down the 1 or 2 helping careers that resonate, that keeps resonating with us. Is it HR? Is it counseling, psychology? Is it mental health, nursing? Is it coaching? What is it? And write 3 reasons that it fits your personality or values. It fits my personality because, I don't know, I can get paid for it, the world needs it, and etc. And I just imagine myself doing that even if I wouldn't get paid. Or just 3 reasons why it fits your values. Or for example, you chose one of your values as, I don't know, empathy, perhaps, like me, and you're like, yeah, psychology resonates because I am too someone who is empathetic with others, etc. Now, and this is what's going to lead you like one step further, is to search for 3 jobs or 3 roles within that chosen career and read the person's specification and try to imagine yourself doing that, and do not think yet about like if you have them or not. We're going to think about that later, but try to think, is this something that I see myself doing, I would be good at doing, I love doing, the world needs it, etc., etc., is aligned with my values, etc. You don't have to apply. You can just read through the person's specification, the job description, start researching maybe some companies that you would be interested in working. And again, something that is optional is you can send it to me so I can give you my honest advice, especially if those careers are in the UK, as I am in the UK and building my career here. So this is the end of part 2. And as you can see, there are many careers in psychology, helping professions, and even ones that I haven't mentioned here that you can do to help others if that's what you are interested in. And you can combine more than one and build your own path that way. You don't have to stick to one specific box. Do not box yourself. And just for you to remind you that discovering what fits us is a journey in itself, a lifelong journey. So again, with that no pressure motto or reminder. And finally, on to part 3, which is crafting a CV that reflects your goals and is tailored to the roles that you have chosen in the previous part. So after you've discovered what your 2-3 dream careers are, after you've identified what 2 roles do you see yourself doing and why, you have written your reasons, now it's time to put that in a CV. So I'm assuming that you all guys know how to do a CV, so I'm just going to try and make this process much simpler. So your CV is a reflection of your work history, your education, any other additional training, any skills, and at the top just relevant information about personal statement, which means like summarizing a bit about your background, where you are now and where you want to go in like 3 to 4 sentences. So let's go through each part of the CV. First, the name, then usually your professional email, make sure it is professional, your number, the city that you live in, your LinkedIn account. We can do a separate video on LinkedIn. Then summary or personal statement, it's just like the word said, a summary of your experience, your background in terms of work history, volunteering, type of career that you're in, etc. If you're studying, what are you studying as well, you can put in here. Then work history or experience. So you put the company's name, the name of the role, and then the dates, month, year in which you started. And if you're still doing that, you just put current, and then you just name 3 or 4 relevant key responsibilities. Some people advise also to add your achievements. It's optional. So the CV is usually max 2 pages. That's my suggestion. After that goes education. If you're currently studying, you still need to put that and just put current. So you put the name of the institution, the name of the degree, and the year that you started, the year that you're finishing. If you are doing a master's, if you have done a bachelor's, if you're doing a bachelor's right now. If you are a high school student, obviously put in your high school's name and your GCSEs, your A levels, any relevant information goes in here. Licenses and certification / additional training, like any courses that you've done on top of like your studies. So for example, it could be, in my case, I've talked about this previously, I've done a mental health coaching course, so I would add it here. What societies are you a member of? And then something that I forgot to mention, actually, volunteering. Volunteering is so important, especially for psychology graduates. I wouldn't say as important as work history, because both unpaid and paid roles can get you to your dream job. So make sure to include volunteering. Usually it's like sort of at the end, so it works the same way as work history. You put the name of the institution if you volunteered, add the name of the role, the dates, and some like short responsibilities that you undertook as that volunteering position. And finally, your skills. So you just name maybe 6 or 7 skills that you want to highlight from yourself. So guys, none of this is important if you don't know what types of roles do you want to get into. So that's why I didn't want to spend too much time explaining what the CV is, but I think it's still crucial, especially maybe for people that are still in high school, people that just started their undergrads. Sometimes we don't get these explanations when we're studying, so it's important to know that. As I said at the beginning and in the middle, feel free to ask me questions on my personal email as to what are the parts of a CV. It will also depend if you're going onto a creative type of industry, then you will probably need a portfolio. For the purpose of this video, I'm just focusing on careers such as psychology or helping roles and people that want to tailor their CV to the specific 2 roles that they've identified. So first, let's identify the roles. Again, for the purpose of this video, I'm only going to choose 1 role, okay guys? But feel free to apply this to any role that you are interested in. So I just opened up and I found a role. I literally just searched assistant psychologist, which is a really common role in the psychology world. There are many, we have mentioned them before, but guys, I don't want you to get the idea that this is the only role that you can apply to with a psychology degree. This is just one of many. But I know a lot of you are interested in this, so let's just focus on that one. So let's read a bit about these roles. It says assistant psychologist from the Chelsea Psychology Clinic. How did I find this role? LinkedIn. You can search it on Indeed as well. If you are actively searching, although this is not something for this video, make sure that you have activated your job alerts, okay, or your preferences in both Indeed and LinkedIn, which I would say are the 2 main platforms, also the ones that I use when trying to find a new job. So it says, at the Chelsea Psychology Clinic, we're a leading multidisciplinary practice committed to delivering outstanding mental health care, etc. Employed position, location, reporting to, schedule, etc. It says CV and cover letter, so we can do another video about how to tailor a cover letter to the role. Basically, the role of the assistant psychologist and job duties, you have to read this very carefully. One of the core aspects of the role is to be a primary point of contact for new clients coming into the Chelsea Psychology Clinic. The clinic receives multiple inquiries. Key responsibilities, this is also very relevant, to conduct 15-minute telephone triages with new inquiries to the clinic to establish what the person's suitability is for the service and decide on the most appropriate treatment option. What needed, assistant, admin, so there are admin skills, teaching, training and supervision, like receiving supervision on the role, management, recruitment, policy, service development, attend meetings for service development, service evaluation, and generic. To be successful in the role, so that will be the person's spec, highly organized and autonomous, ability, excellent time management, etc. So these are the types of skills that you would need to mention at the end of the CV in the part that says skills. So I use AI as anyone who is also wanting to make their process a bit more efficient. But before using AI, you of course need to first have a basic generic version of your CV. So now you can go on to ChatGPT, which is the one that I use, and say, could you create a tailored version of my CV? And then you paste your CV here. that is aligned to the role that I want to apply. And then you just copy paste the job spec, pretty much everything. So usually some job adverts would have a PDF of the job specification, the responsibility, sometimes even a separate PDF. So make sure to include all of the information that the employer is giving you, whether that's on a PDF or whether that's, in this case, on this LinkedIn just main page. So could you create a tailored version of my CV, and you paste your CV here that is aligned to the role that I want to apply. Please highlight how my experience, both paid and unpaid, are explicitly aligned with the role. I'm not going to press enter because obviously I haven't pasted any CV, because obviously that's like personal information and you want to use your own like ChatGPT, Gmail, and also save that chat so that it understands when you're applying to a new role, sort of like what you're doing, which is a strategic job hunting. I'm not going to do that, but you get the idea. Just press enter and it will obviously give you something that you need to read. So just copy paste it on a Word document and send it to the employer, because that won't do either. You have to read carefully. Actually, is this something that I have done that AI has like sort of said in my CV? Is this something that the employers wanted? Like, use also your human skills to then edit whatever ChatGPT gave you. So edit it, just make sure that it says, okay, let's just read one more time. So for example, if it says I have to be highly organized and autonomous, just double check that in the skills it says high organizational skills or autonomous. So literally, I was also going to suggest, like, try to be as explicit as you can with mirroring the job spec / job description in your CV. That definitely do. Be very explicit, be very obvious that you are a good candidate, but also be mindful of how you see yourself in that role. So are you actually like suitable for the role? Like 100% honest, and if not, then I wouldn't say completely shut it down, but rather think about what you can do in order to gain either the experience or either volunteering, especially in the psychology graduate world. Volunteering is great. I am volunteering right now. I have volunteered last year. I think this is sort of my third volunteering role. Volunteering in a local authority, and I'm helping send parents, so parents with children with special educational needs, sort of have a space in which they can talk about their concerns. I am co-facilitating that session because obviously I'm not an expert yet, but I can talk about that in applications to do my further training in educational / child psychology. So see how this really adds up, like on our CV when we apply to further training, and also because if we have done our due diligence in understanding why we want the things that we want, what careers, what roles, what are the reasons, what are our values, it will be sort of easy to navigate this part of the CV. So that will leave us towards the end of the video. Obviously, we haven't covered everything regarding, especially the part of applying to jobs. I just wanted to make sure that you understood at least how to tailor a CV to a role that really is aligned to your core values and aspirations. That was my main objective of the video. On further videos, on future videos, we can go on much more detail in terms of strategic job hunting, how to organize ourselves for that, how to not lose momentum as well, how to network our ways for the right roles. Actually, in terms of networking and getting your CV across the right person, I've also made a video on that, so I'm just gonna leave it as well somewhere here. Feel free to watch it. It's based on a book that I read. So that was all for today's video. I know it was a bit long, but thank you for staying until the end, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.